Good morning, everyone. I now call this meeting to order. The time is 8:32 a.m. and the Oregon Board of Physical Therapy is entering public session for the purposes of roll call. Sarah, would you please take roll?
Yes. Tim,
Here.
Aaron,
Here.
Mariah,
Here.
Sandra,
Here.
Huku,
Here.
Susan,
Here.
Erica is absent, predetermined absence. Dwight,
Here.
and then for staff, Michelle is excused. Sherry,
Here.
Gayla,
Here.
Sarah is here. Joanna.
Here.
Okay. And then it does appear that we have some members of the public present.
Wonderful. We're about to enter into executive session. So I'll read this blurb. My understanding is that while we enter into executive session, members of the public will be put in a waiting room
Yes.
for however long executive session takes. And then once we finish with that, we come back to public session. And that's
Correct.
okay. All right, so the board will enter executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602, little f, little h, and big L. Executive sessions are closed to the public. Any attendees will be asked to wait in the waiting room or placed in the virtual waiting room during the executive session and brought back into the meeting prior to the board reconvening public session.
Okay.
So
Give me just a moment to put them in the waiting room.
sure.
Okay. And then if you want to announce the time that we're entering.
Absolutely. The time is now 8:34 and the Oregon Board of Physical Therapy will now adjourn public session. The time is 10:43 a.m. and the Oregon Board of Physical Therapy is entering into public session. Would now be the right time to note who is present and roll call?
I think that we can just say that everyone who was present at the beginning of the public session this morning is still present. There have been no changes.
No changes. Everyone who was there is now present. All righty.
Sarah,
Yes.
it says the meeting's being transcribed this time. Is that the same?
Let me double check.
Okay.
It is the same. It's fine.
Okay. It's a little different.
It's just yeah. No,
Okay,
we're good.
thank you.
Wonderful. Hey, Dwight, would you be willing to read our statutory purpose here?
Yes. Statutory purpose to protect the public health, safety, and welfare for all Oregonians by maintaining standards for quality care, professional skill, and competence through the effective regulation of the practice of physical therapy.
Thank you. Right, ready to move forward to board motions as a result of executive session.
This is Sandra Hahn. In the case number PT 883-20/12/24, I move to close the case.
I second the motion.
We will do a vote by roll call. Timothy?
Aye.
Aaron?
Aye.
Mariah?
Aye.
Sorry. Could you say that one more time? Thank you. Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Erica is excused, and Dwight.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
In case number PT 908-05/25, I move to close the case.
I second the motion.
Timothy,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Erica is excused, and Dwight.
Aye.
The
motion carries unanimously.
In case number PT 904-04/25, I move to close the case.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote. Timothy,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
and Dwight.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries unanimously.
In case number PT 913-07/25, I move to close the case and issue license.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
and Dwight.
Aye.
Madam Chair, the motion carries unanimously.
In case number PT 861-01/24, I move to not reopen the case.
I second the motion.
And roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
and Dwight.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. I believe that that is the end of votes as a result of executive session.
Thank you. So move on to the consent agenda items.
For the record, one of our board members noted a amendment on the draft minutes from the July meeting. So the minutes are amended to read that case PT 903-04/25 passed by a vote of 5-1.
I
Thank
move
you.
to approve the consent agenda items as with that amendment.
I second that motion.
Roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Aaron,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Erica is excused, and Dwight.
Aye.
With that, the consent agenda is approved unanimously.
Wonderful. Looks like we're ready to move on to committee delegate or delegate reports. So just open that up for any delegates to report back.
Yeah, I can report out. So I don't have much from the compact committee, but I just wanted to let the group know that I was nominated to be an executive board member for the PT compact, which is different than my role on the compact compliance committee. And I honestly don't know if I'll stay on the compliance committee if I move into that role, but I will find out in October during the annual meeting on what will happen with that. So I will let you guys know next board meeting the outcome, I would say. So yeah.
Thanks. Congratulations, Erin.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you for your service too.
Yeah, it's a big deal. If you look it up on the internet, on the internet, it is a big deal. I was mind blown to get that. So
Um,
I'm pretty sure.
I will give, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure if you're elected, you can't stay on the committee.
I'm pretty sure that's the case as well. Yeah. And I think my term is up shortly anyway, so it's okay. Yeah.
I was going to say that I am on the Compact Education and Outreach Committee. I'm the chair, and I am very happy to hear that Erin is being nominated to that because I think that you'll be awesome at it. The report from my committee is that they are continuing to work on essentially figuring out ways to communicate about home state because that is still a continuous issue. They're working on putting out some informational videos on how to navigate home state and what changing your home state means for your PT compact privilege, which, you know, as a board that deals with a significant number of compact privilege holders, I think that that'll be really good to have more informational materials. But that's really the only committee update from that.
Wonderful. Looks like we've got listed up here upcoming webinar and trainings. Do you want to speak to that, Sarah?
Sure. So these are the upcoming kind of lunchtime webinars that are available through FSBPT. I just put them up here because I know that sometimes navigating that website is a little bit, you know, there's a lot of information there, but then things can get lost. And so I just thought we could list some of these in case any of them are things that you would be interested in attending. And that actually leads nicely into the next slide, which is that the FSBPT annual education meeting is coming up next month in Spokane. This is the closest it's been in a few years. So I believe that we have a list of who is planning on attending. If your attendance has changed, like you can no longer attend, but you had flagged it as being something that you were interested in, please let us know. Or if this is essentially the last call. If you haven't told us yet that you want to go and you want to go, tell us by the end of the day, because we're starting to make travel arrangements as staff. And then I just listed the keynote topics as well, kind of similar to the last slide. Now that they're available, one of these might trigger someone to say, oh my gosh, I really want to go to that. I believe that lots of these are also available virtually. So if you can't travel, but you want to attend one of these keynotes, let us know that as well, because we can make arrangements to get you registered for that as well.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, moving on to annual best practices review.
Yeah, so the best practices review is something that semi-independent boards do annually. We send that to the governor's office, and I believe that she reports it out to the legislature. This is the criteria. It is a yes or no question. Michelle very helpfully put in some notes here about some of the, you know, particularly because we have newer board members currently, they may not know that the executive director received her feedback in December, as that predates some of us. So I just want to put a call out. If anyone has a no on any of these categories, please let us know. Or if you have something that you would say yes, but you think that we could be doing it better, we'd love to hear that as well. Anyone? All right, hearing no no's, I will move on. I do just want to flag that our board has had all yeses for several years in a row, and I do want to just say that that is a testament to our fearless leader, Michelle, who makes sure that we are all yeses. House Bill 3824 updates. This is me again, Hoku. So several of you may remember that the legislature or APTA presented House Bill 3824 this year. That bill did pass. The governor signed it in August. She did sign it with a signing letter, which gives this board some direction on how she wants us to approach the rulemaking process for this statute or for this bill. Particularly that she wants us to coordinate with the Oregon Medical Board to establish certain rule advisory committees for some sections of the rule. I did want to give you guys a very overwhelming chart, just to give you guys a visual representation. I went through the sections that this bill amends. And I looked to see in our rules which rules were referencing one of the statutes that got amended. And as you can see, there are only 2 rules that did not in some way get touched by this bill. Those 2 rules are the name of our board and the military spouse temporary permit. So every other rule will need to be looked at. So essentially, I wanted to give you guys this kind of visual representation just to show how much work we have ahead of us. And so as the governor had given us kind of direction in how she wants us to prioritize the rulemaking, all of this will need to come before some of that stuff that she told us to prioritize at the end. So all of these things need to be, if not amended, at least reviewed to ensure that they're still compliant, right? So you can see that along the bottom there, 688.160, that touches almost every one of our rules. So we just need to go through and review every single rule and make sure that we still have the statutory authority in 688.160 to be able to have that rule. And if not, it will need to be amended. So this is just to give you an idea of the work ahead of us. There are also several sections of the House bill that we don't have any rules on. So again, we will need to create rules for all of these things. That top one, practice of dry needling, that's the one that the governor directed us to prioritize last in order to give it enough space and time to involve all of the relevant stakeholders. And so notification of intent to work under an emergency order, we're going to need to create rules about that. Veterinary standard of care, all of these pieces will need to have rulemaking. So this bill goes into effect in July of 2027. So we will have a very, very busy 2026. Lots and lots of rulemaking. You should probably anticipate that there will be some rulemaking addressed at every board meeting for the next year. And then just here's a few takeaways. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. That's the bottom line. And then any updates on this rulemaking process will be available on the board's website. We have been directed to, all agencies have been directed to publish a rulemaking schedule. And so as you can see from that chart that I showed you, we've got a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. And so we're working on getting some of that rulemaking scheduling done. And you can anticipate more information at the November meeting with somebody who's much better at rulemaking leading it, because Michelle will be back by then.
Thanks for that, Tara.
Yeah.
And I can jump in on this, kind of along the lines of with rulemaking, something that we'll be looking at too is updates to the TOEFL scoring. TOEFL, if you don't know, is the company that provides our English proficiency exam scores. And currently we're following one scale, and they're going to be updating to the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages scale, or the CEFR, which is kind of known as the global standard for the language proficiency. So that's going to be effective January 21st of 2026. But for the next 2 years, they're going to be providing the score reports that we get with both sets of scale, of scores. So the one that we're currently using, and then the new updated scale as well. So nothing we have to be concerned about now, but we just did kind of want to give you some preliminary information, a little heads up on it, that this is something we'll be looking at too, along with the other rulemaking.
Awesome. Thanks, Gayla.
You're welcome.
Sarah, do you have, or maybe this is a Sherry question, so review of delegated authority letter. So kind of talking about when the board needs to be included in these reviews.
Yeah. Sherry, do you want to cover it or do you want me to?
Do we have it? Do you have it going to come up on screen? Perfect. Thank you. So every year the board has to review the delegated authority letter to see what is delegated for staff to do. So we were already planning to bring this to the board to look at, and when we were looking at it, we realized there was two things that the board could potentially add to this letter that would be helpful. So they're there in red. One of them is to, number 3 says to review, approve, and issue temporary permits. One thing that we didn't have there was temporary permit extensions. It happens very rarely, but every once in a while, a temporary permit holder has a temporary permit and they request, the rules allows the board to issue a temporary permit extension at its discretion. But so those don't have to come back to the board to be reviewed. If they're in the delegated authority, for us to just give that extension, as long as there's no like extenuating circumstances of why the board might not want to give it. Usually what happens is the temporary permit just expires and there's a short period of time before the exam is scheduled to happen, where someone might not be able to practice under their temporary permit any longer. So that's one of the things. And then if you look at number 16, has to review initial complaints, including self-disclosures. What that covers is people who have the board's rules require someone who has an arrest of a felony or a conviction of a misdemeanor to report that to the board within 10 days. So if somebody just reaches out to me, let's say today, and says, hey, Sherry, last week I was convicted of misdemeanor DUI. If it's in the delegated authority for me to look at that and say, okay, do we need to bring this to the board or not? Or can we just say, okay, they followed the rule, they met what's required in the rule, should we move on? Now, what the second piece of that is, what you guys will see next, is we realized we didn't have a policy that specifically addressed people who report arrests, charges, or convictions during the year. We have a really good policy of if somebody reports it on their initial application or on their renewal, but not in the middle. So what we did was we added to this draft the self-disclosure in the during the year, and then we took the policy of people who report it on their application or on their renewal and just put a new policy for you to consider of people who report an arrest, charge, or conviction during the middle of the year, and made it similar policy of when it needs to come back to the board or when it doesn't. So
and one thing that one thing that I'll say is that because self-disclosure is handled like a complaint, this is really just making our existing practice more explicitly listed so that we have a policy that we can point to say, oh, well, when somebody reports their conviction, this is what we do, rather than lumping it in with complaints entirely.
Right. Like when do you all need to look at that? And when do you want to look at that? And so do you want to talk?
Yeah, let me pull up the policy. Here's the draft.
So this basically is very similar to the policy of if somebody disclosed it on an application or on renewal of when it would come to the board or when it would just be delegated to the staff to take care of it and then bring it back to the board for to be put on the consent agenda.
Okay, so would this be the time that we would like open it up for discussion if anyone has questions about the draft proposal? Is that about right?
Yeah, or back to the, if anyone has any questions, back to the delegated authority. Like if you didn't want to delegate any of this to the staff and you want to see every one of these or every one of the temporary permit extensions.
Okay, so we'll open that up to the board and the public for discussion or questions.
Jerry, I guess my question would be what's typically a reason why someone has a temporary permit extension? Would it be not passing the exam primarily?
No, so if someone didn't pass the exam, they can't get a temporary permit extension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's in the rule already where if they fail, their temporary permit immediately ceases as soon as we get their
Okay.
results. This would be just for folks like, say I accept a position, and then the next time that I can take the NPTE is 105 days from now. Well, the way that the rule is written, the temporary permit only lasts for 90 days. So they would say they can start working today. They could start working today, but then they'd have that 15-day gap between when the NPTE is offered. And so it's just to cover that little short gap. But like Sherry said, we tried to look back, and I think we've gotten maybe, I don't know, possibly one per year. And that seems generous.
It has to do with when someone graduated from school, like if a graduation date from whatever program happens to be, because you can't get a temporary permit until you've completed the program and we have evidence that the program was completed. So I think when the rule was made 90 days, it was because that pretty much fit everyone, but maybe some schools are graduating people a little earlier or when the exam is, or let's just say somebody couldn't take the July exam because they were going to be like traveling in Europe or something and they schedule for the October exam and then they missed that window of when the next exam is.
Okay.
The other piece that I will say is that anyone who has failed the NPTE does not qualify for a temporary permit. So if they've already taken it once and failed, they can't get it later. So this is only for first-time test takers.
Thank you so much. That was you guys, but I learned a lot. Thank you.
Kayla, do you have anything to add to all that?
No, I think you guys covered it. I think maybe it's usually like those May, June graduates who aren't going to take the exam until October, and it just goes beyond that. But I agree. We've had very few that we've been asked to extend.
All right, any other questions or thoughts about the delegation of authority or disclosure policy for disclosure of arrests or convictions? All right, I'm hearing crickets. What would we do at this point with that?
So we would need to vote to adopt the delegated authority letter as written, or the proposed changes to the delegated authority, and then move to adopt the policy if you guys wanted to move forward with that as well. It would be one vote for both, unless somebody wants us to split it out in some way. If you don't want the delegated authority letter and do want the I'm not sure how we would split it out, but if for some reason you didn't want both.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with them being put together. If anyone has an objection, please say so. All right, well,
Are you ready for a motion, Madam Chair?
ready.
I move to adopt the proposed changes to the delegated authority letter as amended.
Oh.
And
Sorry,
move
as written or as amended?
as amended.
So do you,
Oh, I think
what are
means amended
With
as the amendments that were
the red, including the red.
Okay, so then you would say as written, because
Okay.
that's the written version. Sorry, if we had made changes during the meeting, that would be the amendment.
Okay, thank you for that.
Sorry.
So then
Start that one.
I move to adopt the proposed changes to the delegated authority letter as written, and I move to adopt the policy on review and approval of licensees with misdemeanors, arrests, or felony convictions as written.
Yeah, I second the motion.
Roll call vote. Tim,
Aye.
Erin,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Erica is excused, and Dwight.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
So next on the agenda is a request for a temporary permit extension, which we just talked about. We got a little refresher about now. So if one of the staff members could kind of chat us through that, but it's a hot
Yep. Yeah, so this is for a temporary permit number 65796. He accepted a position. He knew at the time that he applied for the temporary permit that he would need an extension, and he made that formal request to Gala ahead of time. Gala, do you want to speak to how long the extension will need to be for, or? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, I can look that up. It's not far. I think his current one extends, or expires. Just let me look it up real quick. Okay, his current one expires on October 16th. And the exam is scheduled. He's registered for, I believe it's the October 29th date. And then we get those scores back on the 5th. So it would be an extension of, 2 weeks? About 2 weeks, yeah. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay.
Have any questions? And if no one has questions, I guess we're ready for a motion.
I move to grant an extension of the temporary permit number 65796 for Nicholas Bronson for 60 calendar days or until the receipt of his passing in PTE scores, whichever occurs first.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote. Timothy,
Aye.
Erin,
Aye.
Mariah,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Hoku,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Erica is excused, and Dwight.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously.
Wonderful. I think that moves us on to other business, which I have none of. So I wonder if anyone else has anything that they'd like to bring to the board.
No, just a reminder that the next meeting's in person.
Is it gonna be at the medical board or the PT board?
At the same, at the office at the medical board, where we had it the lesson. So anyone who needs to travel, let me know if you need any help with that.
What's the date?
November, do we have it on there?
Yeah, I have it on the.
21st, right?
There we go.
November 21st.
I just have a question. So for everyone who wanted to go to the October board meeting training,
The Spokane one?
are we approved to go to that? I'm just wondering whether to keep my schedule blocked or not.
Let's talk this afternoon because yes, let's talk this afternoon. Thank you for the heads up. That's why we put out the last call.
Well, all right. I mean, in absence of additional information, it looks like we're getting ready to adjourn unless there's something that. Anybody? Okay. So let me. Oh. All right. So ready for adjournment?
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. So the time is now 11:15 a.m. and this meeting of the Oregon Board of Physical Therapy is adjourned.